Hey folks, so I'm going to do another debunk of this clown here. That's right, we're debunking Enoch of TikTok, aka Nathan Thompson, and his BS. This man is somebody who comes in other people's lives and decides that he mutes anybody who can pretty much call him out on his BS that he puts up. He puts up videos, and when you call out the discrepancies in these videos, he pretty much just mutes you and kicks you out. So we're going to go to his channel, and every once in a while here, and we're going to rip apart one of his BS videos. Let's have a go.
Open your eyes.
Right, so right away there, Enoch puts up the thing, and he's saying space is fake, and it puts up a Wikipedia of a sphere that a scientist in Germany had actually invented way back in the day. And it was actually, if you read that Wikipedia a little bit, you realize it was actually to showcase the scientist's air pump, and just the fact how it could draw, pull out so much air out of the sphere, which he had sealed with grease to cause a good seal, and then obviously putting it back, I think he couldn't pull it apart. And that's only because what that actually is that was at probably atmospheric pressure, and when you remove all the air from inside something, then you have all that atmosphere outside pushing in. Now we're talking 14.1 psi, so that's pounds per square inch. Big enough sphere, you remove all that out of there, then you have all that pressure pushing in, because vacuums don't suck. It's actually pressure moving from lower to higher, and it's trying to move in, so it's actually pushing that and sealing that, and that's what was actually causing that. So this actually doesn't disprove space at all. I know he tries to claim this, but in our atmosphere, we have a pressure gradient. You can easily prove this to yourself within your own home by downloading an app on your phone for measuring pressure gradient, and just go from the floor to the ceiling, or go from one floor to another, and you'll measure pressure gradient. As you increase in altitude, then our pressure lowers and lowers until eventually you get to a certain point where we have a tiny bit of pressure very, very high up next to a tiny bit less. Space is not a perfect vacuum. There's always a little bit of matter in there. In fact, we've detected parts of our atmosphere way out to the moon. And there's actually some effects you can see on the moon if you get really, really clear videos in which you have looks like rust or something on there. And that is some of the oxygen and some of the hydrogen in the atmosphere that's over millions of years is starting to kind of affect things like some of the regolith on the moon. So all it is space doesn't suck, vacuum doesn't suck, it's just a pressure gradient going up and going less and less and less. So we don't actually have high pressure next to low pressure, we have a tiny bit of pressure next to a tiny little less, tiny little less, tiny little less. Something that Nathan doesn't understand, because he's not very bright. So here is actually talking about the CMB, which has been measured and is demonstrable and provable, and it's been measured many, many times quite easily. And also I talk about redshift, blue shift, which has been proven and observed. I think this has actually been observed for well over 100 years. So we can see as things are moving away from us and as things are moving towards us. And this is actually one of the ways we've actually been able to prove and demonstrate how the Earth's rotation orbit around the sun is looking at different stars at different times that we know that are within our celestial sphere. And we can see that at certain times they're moving away from us, and other times they're not moving at all, because as you're orbiting around, we can see one star, we can see how we're moving this way around the sun, that is, you're seeing it moving away from us. As we're going around the back of the sun, you're not seeing the shift at all, and as we're coming to the other side, we're seeing where it goes from one red shift to blue shift, and then we're seeing it come back on, and as we're on the other side of the sun going across, we're not seeing the shift, and you see it again. So this has actually been provable and demonstrable for well over 100 years. So this is just another thing he's saying space isn't real, and then he's referring to observations we have taken from the universe in space. So he's actually completely debunking himself right here, saying it's not real, and then relying on data and observations and scientific knowledge we have acquired from space. Wow. Good job, Nathan. You just proved space is real. Okay, so now he's brought up the transition of Mercury, and for some reason, and there's how it wasn't fully explained using Newtonian gravitational laws alone. You kind of missed that part, didn't he? Once again, he's relying on stuff that we observed in space and claiming it's not real, but yet he's using science and observations in space. But the only thing is, he did kind of miss, and obviously Elok doesn't like to read his stuff. I think it's funny, he's relying on AI and not actually fact checking it, as he should. And two, he's not reading all this because it said, and I put this in a previous video, that where Newtonian gravitational laws don't quite match up all the way, like they're a simplified version of general relativity. So it happens that Einstein's took what Newton had done previously, because Isaac Newton came before Einstein, and Einstein actually was able to take all what he did and refine it and make it more accurate. So general relativity and special relativity works hand in hand with Newtonian gravitational laws. So where sometimes you use the Newtonian gravitational laws to more simplified things where we don't need to have the speeds or have to have strong gravitational effects. There are other times, like transition in Mercury, where we have a higher speed. We also have a much higher degree of gravity. General relativity has gravity baked into it. Gravity is part of general relativity. And special relativity, you're working at stuff close to the speeds of light, and that's what special relativity comes into. So if you actually had read the article, you said where Newtonian mechanics of gravitation didn't quite fully explain it, that general relativity does explain it, because that's where it kind of could fill in the gaps and go more accurate for higher gravitational effects. So actually Nathan's put up there doesn't actually disprove anything. It's fully admitted in there that where Newton quite didn't understand things, that Einstein's general relativity does, and it actually does explain it because it's more accurate. So yeah, good job, Nathan. You didn't disprove anything. All you proved is that general relativity and Newtonian gravitational laws actually work hand in hand. Good job, Nathan. Once again, you debunked yourself because you're an idiot. Does Newtonian gravity and Einstein's general relativity work hand in hand?
Yes. Newtonian gravity and Einstein's general relativity can work hand in hand in many situations. While Einstein's general relativity provides a more accurate and comprehensive description of gravity, especially in extreme conditions, Newton's theory of universal gravitation remains a useful approximation for many everyday calculations. Here's why they can work together. Newtonian gravity is a simplification. In most situations where the gravitational fields are not extremely strong, or the objects are not moving at very high speeds, Newtonian gravity provides a simpler and more computationally efficient way to calculate gravitational effects. General relativity is a correction. For situations where the effects of general relativity become significant, such as near black holes or at cosmic scales, it can be used as a correction to Newtonian gravity. This allows for more accurate predictions and calculations. In essence, Newtonian gravity can be seen as a simplified version of general relativity that works well in many common scenarios. When the limitations of Newtonian gravity become apparent, general relativity provides a more accurate and comprehensive description.
Ooh, let's read this one. Okay. Einstein's kinematic equivalence in relation to geocentrism refers to the concept based on Einstein's theory of relativity that, from a purely kinematic motion-based perspective, it is mathematically possible to describe the universe using a geocentric model, Earth at the center, with appropriate calculations. Even though we know the heliocentric model, the sun at the center, is the more accurate representation due to the way gravity works. Essentially, the choice of reference frame can make the Earth appear stationary, while everything else orbits around it, but this doesn't reflect the true physical reality of the situation. Did Einstein ever refute the globe?
No, Albert Einstein did not refuse to believe in the Earth being a globe. He was a renowned physicist who accepted the overwhelming scientific evidence supporting the spherical shape of the Earth. His work focused on relativity and quantum mechanics, but he was also well versed in other scientific fields, including astronomy and cosmology. The idea that Einstein rejected the spherical Earth is a misconception that likely stems from misunderstandings or misinterpretations of his work or personal beliefs.
Oh, good job, Enoch of TikTok, aka Nathan Thompson. Everything you showed here proved absolutely nothing except your incredulities and stupidity. Wow, that was a bit simple, really. I mean, everything Nathan Thompson showed there actually disproved him when if you just read a little further than what he highlighted. This shows just how stupid and delusional this man really is. So he thinks he's some clever, friggin' high IQ, friggin', I don't know what the hell he thinks he's, guru. But he's nothing but a scammer, a fraudster, and a complete moron. So anybody who likes to follow this man, and he does some really vile things as well, like chasing children around, trying to harass them all the time, that's here and there, then you're just in the same boat as him. So, but once again, we've all debunked and done for the day, and I have once again destroyed Nathan Thompson and his delusional ideologies with just using facts and logic. This was actually rather easy because everything he put up debunked itself. So this just shows how idiotic this man truly is. Thanks for watching, and see you again.
Nathan Thompson's tears are more sweeter than most flirfs.
Ah, yes. The good stuff. Always sweeten my coffee with the tears of flirfs.